I'm going to be talking from Hebrews chapter 11. If you can turn to Hebrews chapter 11, we're going to be reading from verse 1 onwards. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 onwards. This is a very familiar passage on faith. I'm going to try and bring some new insights on it. As I was reading it, God showed me some things that I would like to share with you. Okay, I hadn't turned it on. So Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1 onwards. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So what is faith? It is the assurance of what we do not see. It's not the assurance of what we see, it's the assurance of what we do not see. Okay? So you've got to always remember that. Faith is the assurance of what we do not see. What we do see is the natural. What we do not see is what we need faith for. This is what the ancients were commended for. So the ancients, talking about Abraham and all those people, they were commended for their faith in what they did not see. When somebody gives you a promise, you see. No, you don't see it. It's a promise. When God promised Abraham a child, he cannot see it. The natural circumstances say, no, that's impossible. But by faith you believe in the promises which you do not see. Okay, so that is faith. This is what the ancients were commended for. Verse 3. By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. What is seen was not made of what was visible. So what is seen was made of what was not visible. The universe that we see is made of what was not visible. So which is more real, the visible or the invisible? Think about it. Which is more real? The visible is real or the invisible is more real? The invisible is more real, because what is seen was not made of what was visible. It was made of what was invisible. Okay? So just follow me on this. Verse 4. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. A simple thing, like an offering. But he did it by faith. Remember, God sees your heart. He knows your intentions. He knows your motives. And he commended Abel for his faith. And by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. Cain is not mentioned at all. Cain was doing things in the natural. He was after the things that were seen. But Abel was after the things that were not seen. He was commended. That is why he still lives. It says that, and by faith Abel still speaks even though he's dead. Cain is not speaking at all because he had no faith. By faith Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended and was one who pleased God. So how do you please God? By faith. In fact, the next verse says, and without faith it is impossible to please God. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists. Do you see God? No. Invisible. But you have to believe. That is faith. They must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. God rewards those who earnestly seek him. You know, when the world looks at us and sees us, seeking God, they mock you. They say, what is wrong with you? You're stupid. Why? Because you're after the invisible. That is not seen. It's not real. But what they don't understand is what is unseen is more real than what is not seen. The things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are unseen are eternal. So, as believers, God says, you cannot please me by running after the things that are seen. You will not be rewarded. You will be rewarded when you seek earnestly the things that are unseen. It's almost like Matthew 6:33. Can somebody quote it? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things that you see will be added to you. Is the kingdom of God something you can see? No, it's unseen. But when you seek the kingdom of God, everything that is seen also will be added to you. But most of us look at it in the reverse direction. We seek the things that are seen, and we think the kingdom of God will be added to us. I'm going to read verse 6 again. And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists, and He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. There is a reward. People say, that's not a right motivation, that you do something for a reward. But God Himself says, if you earnestly seek Him, you will be rewarded. Paul says, I seek the prize. We all want rewards. Who wants to do something without rewards? We all want rewards. And God is a rewarder of those who earnestly seek Him. There's nothing wrong in seeking rewards, because God wants you to seek Him and wants to give you rewards for seeking Him. Then we have all these heroes of faith. We have Noah, we have Abraham, and Gautam mentioned Abraham. But I'm going to read about Abraham, verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going, unseen. By faith, he made his home in the promised land, like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. And verse 10 is pretty key. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. Was that a seen city? It was not seen. He was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. It was an unseen city. He was seeking actually the kingdom of God. He was seeking the kingdom of God right there in the Old Testament with his limited understanding. He was looking forward to that perfect kingdom of God. Verse 11 talks about Sarah. Look at verse 13. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers here on earth. We're not talking about the physical things. We're not talking about Abraham not receiving Isaac, or Sarah not receiving Isaac. We're not talking about those things. They were looking for a city. Whatever physical things were promised, they saw it, they got it. But whatever eternal things that God promised them about the city, they did not see it. That's what it's saying. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. Verse 14, people who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have opportunity to return. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for He has prepared a city for them. So, did that promise Was that promise realized in that time? No, it wasn't. That promise, the promise of the kingdom of God was not realized in that time. And Jesus actually mentions this. If you turn to Matthew chapter 13 and verse 16 to 17, here we have the parable of the sower and the seed. And we saw that this is the parable of the kingdom. This is the parable of how the different kinds of soil representing the different kinds of heart, of spirit that receive the word of God, that receive the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom. And that's what he was talking about, and that's what is referred to here. Verse 16 says of Matthew 13, verse 16, "But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it." So Jesus brought the kingdom of God on earth. These prophets were longing to see that. They died without seeing it. But Jesus is saying here, those people of ancients, those people of old times, what they long to see, you guys are seeing now. Do you see it now? Yes, you should see it now. The kingdom of God is here. Jesus said, if I drive out demons by the finger of God, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. What is he saying? When we separate the acts of the enemy from the people of God, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. You have the perfect reign and rule of Christ here on earth. When I remove the works of the enemy from among your midst, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. That is what Christ did for us. He came to destroy the works of the enemy. Why? To bring the kingdom of God here on earth. When the works of the enemy is destroyed, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When the will of God is done in your life, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. You get the thing? The kingdom of God is a future thing for sure. We don't have the full manifestation of the kingdom of God today, but when you see the works of the enemy being separated from the works of God, when you see the full manifestation of the works of God in your life, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When the will of God is done in your life. Is this too abstract? Do you get this? Because you need to get this. When the will of God is done in your life, then the kingdom of God is come in your life. When the works of the enemy in your life is destroyed, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. If you are in bondage, if you are in sin, if you are in the midst of all these troubles that the enemy has brought upon you, then the kingdom of God is really not manifest in you. I'm not talking of the full manifestation, but there has to be the manifestation of the kingdom of God, the will of God in your life. When you submit to the Lordship of Jesus, the will of God has to be done in your life. When you say no to sin, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When you say no to Satan, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. Let's go back to Hebrews chapter 11. We have the story of Moses and the story of the people passing the Red Sea. And verse 32, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 32. And what shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, who gained what was promised, who shut the mouth of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned into strength. and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Women received back their dead, raised to life again. There were others who were tortured, refusing to be released so that they might gain or even better resurrection. Some faced jeers and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes and in the ground. Verse 39. These were all commended for their faith. They were commended for their faith. Will God write about you